Hi everyone, Gary Coleshill here, and you are in the right place. This is the ultimate phone sales system for Aflac Associates, and we will be getting started in a couple of minutes. There are a lot of people joining us today, and I just want to let them get settled for a minute or two, and then we'll begin. Hi everyone, Gary here. Wow, looks like we have a pretty full house today, so many thanks of you all for joining us. And firstly, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping issues. I will be happy to answer any questions that you have, providing they're polite, of course, towards the end of the webinar, so please write them down and hold them for me till then. Now, my intention today is not to change or replace what you're already doing with Aflac, but to give you some extra tools and techniques to help you get more appointments and ultimately close more sales. Now, the first thing I want to do here is actually thank Carissa Long-Saunders with Risk Transference Marketing Services for helping me put this event together today. A lot of you know Carissa, and her help has been invaluable. So anyway, firstly, let's give you the schedule for today's activities. Let's see here. Here we go. This will be the schedule for the webinar. Firstly, we're going to have a quick intro here and give you some reasons why you should even bother to listen to me. Then we're going to chat about one of the biggest challenges facing all salespeople today, dealing with voicemail. Moving on to call reluctance, knowing who to call, getting past the dreaded gatekeeper, big issue I know with a lot of you, working with automated phone systems. I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to increase your income using the power of social media. I'm going to give you some pointers and ideas on how to write a killer phone presentation. And then, because I have to pay the bills and feed the kids, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on my main follow-up program and the different modules that are involved, and then at the end we're going to take some questions. So anyway, again, many thanks to all of you for taking the time to be here today. And in the next hour on this webinar, I'm going to show you exactly how to close more sales, set more appointments, and enjoy more of what you do every day. Now, most salespeople are struggling in their businesses because of a total inability to set more appointments. This one area of their business is holding back every other area. Obviously, if we have more opportunities to present our products and services to more prospects, we're going to close more sales and we're going to make more money. And after this webinar is over, you're going to know more about setting more appointments and phone selling itself, etc., than 99% of your competition does. And at the end of the webinar, I'm going to tell you how you can get free copies of 4 of my most popular reports, which are the things not to say at any cost if you want to make a sale, the top 12 ways to hit and even exceed your goals in a recession, getting past the gatekeeper, and learning to love voicemail. Now, these reports are a $25 value each, so their combined value is $100, but I'm going to tell you at the end of the webinar how to get them all absolutely free, so make sure you stick around. I promise you it'll be worth it. I'm also going to give you at the end of the webinar a free copy each of the top 5 objections that Aflac agents hear and how to overcome them. So stick around. I promise you it's worth it. Now, let's move on to the intro section here. For the past 18 years plus, I've consistently earned a 6-figure income working with top national speakers such as Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins, and many more. And I say this not to brag, but just to give you some idea of my background. I came to the US in the early 1990s with my wife and my son, the family dog, and very little money. And not having had the benefit of a university education, I didn't have much chance of getting a great paying job. So I took a telephone appointment setting job with a company that promoted Tom Hopkins seminars. Now, my first year, in the business was pretty awful. I only earned a measly $27,000, but I needed to make a success out of my new career, so I soldiered on, and determined to be successful, I read lots of books on selling, listened to tapes, and attended the seminars. Now, some of the stuff out there is good, but a lot of it, unfortunately, is total rubbish, written by so-called experts who've never used the phone to either sell or to set appointments. And even if they did, it was so long ago as to make what they say pretty much totally redundant. I'm talking pre-cell phones, pre-internet, so you can see how relevant that information would be. Not very. I will shorten your learning curve for you. I'll show you exactly how to increase your phone sales in the shortest time possible, because not only do I know what works and what doesn't from experience, but I'm still actively making hundreds of calls every single day. Now, one of the first things that I learned was to study the top producers in the company and do as they did. I asked them for tips, I studied their work habits, I sat behind them when they made calls and made notes on what they said and how they said it. Now, if you want to be successful at something, you want to find someone who is already successful in that area, model them, and do as they do. In other words, find yourself a mentor and learn from them. And if you like what you hear in this webinar today, I would like to be that mentor for you. Anyway, by following the mentor philosophy, pretty soon my sales started to pick up, and I did edge my way up the sales charts in the office. And within just a few short months of really applying myself, I was the #1 salesperson in that company. Finally, I was making the magical $100,000 figure every year, and usually quite a bit more. Learning how to use the phone effectively has provided me with a very nice standard of living, and it can for you too. All that you have to do is take this business seriously, study it, and apply what you've learned. For years, I've had promoters and sales training gurus trying to get me to spill the beans and tell them my secrets, and I've always refused. I've worked very, very hard and spent countless hours of trial and error learning what works and what doesn't. And I'm certainly not going to give it away to my competition for free. So I'd like for you to keep what I share with you between you and I. These secret phone strategies are for you to utilize and profit from. So please don't share them with anyone else. If they ask you about them, just send them to the webinar. And use them yourself to build your own business. Now, I've decided to reveal these secrets and techniques that I've learned over the years that have helped me to earn a pretty substantial income, so that you won't have to go through the same painful learning process that I had to. So, let's get started here. Now, I recently authored a poll on LinkedIn, which many of you may have seen. In fact, many of you may have taken it. And the poll question was, what is your major constraint that is holding you back from setting more appointments? And the most popular answers in order were dealing with voicemail, followed closely by call reluctance, knowing who to call, and getting past the gatekeeper. So we're going to concentrate on those top 4 responses. Firstly, we're going to talk about dealing with voicemail. Now, according to our poll, salespeople rate this as being their greatest barrier to success at setting appointments and making sales over the phone. It's very hard to do either when you can't actually ever seem to get hold of a live human being. To many salespeople, voicemail is the curse of telephone sales and appointment setting, because prospects hide behind it and seem to never actually answer the phone. But put yourself in the prospect's shoes for just a moment. People are busier than ever. They have more and more companies trying harder and harder to get their attention, so they use voicemail as a tool to screen out the continuous barrage of marketing that they face every single day. They simply don't have time to listen to every sales pitch from every Tom, Dick, and Gary. Now, this gives you a glimpse into the mindset of the prospect and will enable you to structure your approach to them more effectively. And this is precisely where most sales training misses the boat, because it's taught like it's a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, and it really isn't. In my phone sales coaching program, I'll show you how to dig deep into the mindset of your prospect. When you do that, you're able to speak to them on their level. Start doing that effectively, and you'll be able to totally crush your competition. But for now, I'm going to share with you an overview of the framework that will help you use voicemail to get your calls returned and will help you get your prospect on the line the next time that you call. Now, most salespeople leave messages and no one ever calls them back. If you've been working on the phone for any period of time at all, you'll know just how frustrating that can be. Well, fret no more, because you can use voicemail as a tool to make yourself stand out from other salespeople, build stronger relationships with your prospects, get more callbacks, and ultimately close more sales. I'm going to teach you some very powerful psychological triggers and advanced language patterns that will actually get prospects to call you back. How about that? A regular message leaving just your name, your company, and your phone number is simply just not going to cut it anymore, because all you do is lump yourself in there with every other sales guy trying to get your prospects' attention, and guess what? No one's ever going to call you back. The secret of getting calls returned is to use what I like to call my voicemail triad approach, and it says that prospects will only call you back for one of three reasons. Firstly, curiosity. You pique their interest. You make them curious about your phone call, eager to know more, and you intrigue them. Therefore, they will call you back. Secondly, good old-fashioned greed. You offer them something that they want, something for nothing. Usually, you dangle a carrot under their noses, you make them eager to get it. Now, this approach has been used very, very successfully over the years by my good friends over at the timeshare industry. They'll offer you things like a free weekend away in Vegas or Sedona or something, or a free meal for two at a top restaurant. It's pretty much always in one of their resorts, of course, as are the free weekends away. But they entice people, basically, to call them back and to take these timeshare tours with these free offers. So greed is very powerful there. I mean, just think about this. How many people get up in the morning and think, oh, I think I'll go and buy a timeshare? Not very many, I'll bet. Quite a few probably wake up in the morning and say, hey, I think I'll go and buy a flat screen TV or a, super duper computer, or maybe even a new car. But timeshares, pretty low on the list, and yet the timeshare industry continues to do pretty well from basically kind of bribing people, really, to go and take these tours, and people's greed gets the better of them. Anyway, let's move on now to familiarity. Now, I know this is pretty obvious, but if they know, like, and trust you, they probably will call you back. And by the same token, take it to the next level. If they know, like, and trust someone that's referred you to them, again, good chance they'll call you back. So don't underestimate the power of referrals. And in my main program, I'll share with you how to develop these 3 secret techniques to getting your calls returned and give you powerful voicemail scripts and strategies, including one that studies have shown to have a whopping great 62% response rate. In fact, you know what? I'm going to give you that one right now. So grab a pen and a piece of paper and write this one down. And while you're doing that, I'm going to grab a quick sip of Earl Grey tea here. Okay, I'm back. Now, here it is. Now, this is very, very important. Carefully note the inflection and the deliberate pauses in this script. This should be delivered in a monotone style. The reason for that is you don't want to give them any clue at all of why you're calling. That's what kind of grabs them with this script. So let's take this from the top. Hi, it's Gary Coleshill. I was hoping to catch you in your office for just a minute or two. I'll be in my office today until 4 p.m. and tomorrow from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. I have a question that, and here you pause, well, you pause again, only you can answer. My number is, and here you've got to give out your cell phone number so that you can pick up when they call back, 480-607-0294. Thank you. Now, it's absolutely imperative that you do pick up when they call back, because if they go into your voicemail or just hang up, you'll have missed your chance. You're dead in the water. Now, this is a gutsy script that takes some nerve to use, but used correctly will get you simply astonishing results. But be prepared, though, for some prospects to be a little bit ticked off when they realize it's a sales call. You just have to charm them around by being super friendly. And in my early days, I used this technique a lot. I don't use it as often now, as I'm nearly always on the phone and can't always pick up when they return the call. And I guess it's pretty obvious, at least I really hope it is, but this technique will only work if the prospect is not familiar with who you are. If they know you, they'll probably think you're nuts. So, okay, let's see who's paying attention here and who's awake. Which of the three reasons for calling back would that script fall under? I'll give you a couple of seconds here and see who's the first one to get that right. Which of the three voicemail reasons, which of the voicemail triad reasons would that be, would that script fall under? Send your answers on a postcard to, no, you can just type them into the text box. Wow, that's an absolute flurry of activity there. But I do believe that the first one is, let's see, Jesse. First one is Jesse, and Jesse's in Chicago. Good job, Jesse. You're just a little bit quicker than the rest of them there. So yes, the answer to that question was curiosity. And Jesse was the first one to get that right. So, good job, everyone. Looks like most people got that and sent it over. So let's move on now to call reluctance. According to our poll, that's the second greatest barrier to success. Now, we all know that the more calls that we make to qualified prospects, the more appointments we'll set, and the more sales we'll make. Simple, isn't it? Yeah, it's simple, but it's not easy. Have you ever had a day when the phone handset feels it weighs 100 pounds or more and you can't bear the thought of making yet another call? How on earth can you motivate yourself to make the number of calls that you need to make day in and day out to get the kind of results that you need in order to earn the kind of income that you desire and you deserve? Well, I have some surefire techniques for staying motivated, committed, and focused. So don't spend your day playing catch-up. Learn these techniques and be ahead of the game. And here are a couple of things that have worked well for me over the years. Firstly, it's absolutely crucial to get to know your numbers and how they work for you. For example, if the average sale makes you $1,000, but it takes on average 100 contacts to get, then every contact that you make, good or bad, is worth $10 to you. So, make 50 calls and you made $500. Now, you can directly see that the more calls that you make, the more money you make. In effect, every no that you get brings you that much closer to a yes. Every time someone says no to you, they've just made you $10. Bearing this in mind makes it much, much easier to make the calls that you need to. Also, you may want to try breaking your day down into several one-hour calling blocks. So get hold of a kitchen timer and set it on your desk. Close your door and remove all distractions. Set the timer for 1 hour forward, and for that 1 hour period, resolve to totally focus on outgoing calls. That means don't check your voicemail, don't check your emails, don't return phone calls, and please don't surf the internet. Just totally focus on the task at hand, and when the hour is up, clear your head, take a walk, read a book, or do something else to clear your head for 15 minutes or so, then go back to your desk, reset the timer, and get back to work. By working this way and calling this way in several hour of power productive time blocks, you'll be absolutely astonished at how many more contacts you make and how much more productive you'll be. This technique alone, I promise you, is bound to boost your income. Now, let's move on to the third most popular answer, knowing who to call. Now, this is somewhat surprising because it probably is the easiest barrier to overcome if you know how and where to look. But obviously a lot of salespeople don't know how and spend most of their time calling unqualified prospects that don't need, don't want, or can't afford their product or service. And it doesn't matter how many calls you make or how great your presentation and closing skills are. If you're calling the wrong people, you'll never make a serious income and earn the kind of money that you want to. But I'll share with you secrets of how to generate leads and effectively prospect that will double and even maybe triple your current pool of qualified prospects. I'm going to show you how to define exactly who your target market is, grab their attention, connect with them on a deeper level, and stand out from every other salesperson that's trying to get through to them. But firstly, I would suggest you do this. Take the time to sit down and try to think what characteristics, i.e. age, business, income, location, etc., your best clients have in common. Because you know what? It's very, very likely that 80% of your business comes from just 20% of your clients. So spend some time getting this right. I promise you it's worth it. Next, use the characteristics you've identified to try to develop a profile of your ideal client. Okay, now you want to develop a list based on this profile. This will enable you to laser target that 20%. These will be your best prospects. In other words, spend some time thinking about just who buys your product or your service, then decide what type of person or company makes the best client for you. Use as many criteria as necessary to create the profile. Next, contact a list broker or business information company with your client profile. Now, I understand a lot of you use Info USA and Sales Genie, which is great. That's certainly a very good system indeed, but there are many more that you can look at as well. Anyway, ask the list company to create a targeted list of possible clients in your market area. There are many list brokers and leads companies out there. All you've got to do is go on the internet and search, or if you still have one, look in your local phone book. Now, in my program, I'll share with you some of the most effective resources that I've come across over the past 18 years or so. In the full program, I'll lead you through the exact process of how to build your ideal client profile and use it to create devastatingly effective custom presentations targeted especially to your prospects. But for now, ask yourself these three very, very important questions. You may want to write these down, that important. Firstly, what common fears and frustrations do your best clients share? And I'll repeat that. What common fears and frustrations do your best clients share? Second question. If your ideal clients could wave a magic wand, what parts of their business would they change? Once more, I'm not going to repeat these after this, so make sure you write these down. If your ideal clients could wave a magic wand, what parts of their business would they change? Thirdly, and most importantly, how can you and Aflac be part of that solution? Once more, how can you and Aflac be part of that solution? Now, hopefully you got those. Let's move on to getting past the dreaded gatekeeper. Now, gatekeepers strike fear into even the hearts of the most fearless, seasoned salespeople, and with very good reason, because they have the power to say no, but unfortunately they don't have the power to say yes to your fabulous offering. So if you can't get past the gatekeeper, the prospect is never going to hear how great Aflac is, how great your service is, and what a wonderful person you are. And you'll probably never make a sale. But wait, don't despair, because the gatekeeper can be very easily defeated when you have some of my techniques at your disposal. Here's one of them which can be especially useful when you don't know the prospect's name. When you call a company and reach the gatekeeper, don't ask for the prospect. Instead, ask for human resources. Now, gatekeepers are usually used to people calling up asking about jobs, especially in these tough economic times, and will usually put you straight through, no questions asked. So when you get human resources on the line, Just ask them to transfer you to the prospect, and they usually will without any hassle at all. And if they don't know the prospect, if you don't know the prospect's name rather, they almost certainly will, and will probably tell you if you just ask them nicely. Now, that technique will also work with different departments. Accounts payable, usually if you ask for accounts payable from the gatekeeper, they'll put you through to them, no questions asked as well. They're usually not quite so friendly though. Human resources is a good bet because those people are used to dealing with people all day long and usually very helpful. Anyway, gatekeepers can also be outwitted by something as simple as an online search. So why would you bother walking into a right hook from a gatekeeper when all you really have to do is go online, search the prospect's name, and unearth their direct numbers, their cell phones, and their email addresses. If you can't find them with a search, look for with a traditional search, look for them on Facebook and LinkedIn. Also, you could try using some of the social media search sites. There's a few good ones out there. Haven't checked them lately. Hopefully they're still around. There's who'stalking.com. Kind of looks like who'stalking.com on there, but it's who'stalking.com. kgpeople.com. And there was who'sthat.com. It kind of disappeared for a while and then came back, which is also up on the screen. But check those out as well. I'm sorry, gatekeepers, times have changed, and the person that you're trying to block access to has got to put all their contact information out there on the World Wide Web, just waiting to be discovered. So we don't have to cross swords with you any longer. We can just avoid you. And if the internet search doesn't work, I've developed scripts, techniques, and downright sneaky, very effective strategies and tricks to get you past the gatekeeper virtually every time. So if you feel that you could be successful, if only you could get past that pesky gatekeeper, well, guess what? You can be. Gatekeepers are history. Now, let's talk a little bit about working with automated phone systems. This is a lot more fun than it actually sounds because most company voicemail systems work off of preset commands much like computers do. Well, of course they would. They're computerized. And this is the great part. If you can work out just what those commands are, you can use the system to get directly to the decision maker without encountering the gatekeeper or any screening at all. Now, you will have to experiment a little bit here, but here are some of the things that I've come across. Firstly, the star key operates a bit like the escape key does in your computer. If you press it before the beep on a greeting, you'll usually hear a different set of instructions than if you press it after the beep. Sometimes just pressing the star key will get you a set of instructions that will lead you directly to the prospect's extension. The pound key can get you certain results too. Often it will get you a names directory, as can 411 or 555. Sometimes you need to press several keys. Some systems don't respond to just pressing star. But don't worry though, press star and then 8 and you should get a prompt asking you to enter the extension that you want. If you then follow with star 8, you should get the names directory. Pretty nifty. Now, I've lots of other tips and tricks in the main program to navigate these systems with ease. And once you're able to do that, you can often totally avoid the receptionist and the gatekeeper and get straight through to the prospect without any screening at all. And don't worry if it sounds a little bit complicated because the main program does come with a cheat sheet for these automated voicemail systems. So, anyway, as promised, let's talk a little bit about social media. Now, social media is a total game changer, and I do cover the main social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Plaxo, and Twitter, in the main program. But for now, I want to give you a couple of quick tips on how you can start to increase your income today using social media. Now, a quick word of warning on social media. These guys are kind of a law unto themselves, social media platforms, and they tend to kind of invent rules as we go along. So be careful with them because they're very quick to kick you off if you violate a rule that you've never heard of or they just made up. So you always got to watch that a little bit with them. But anyway, just bear it in mind. Now, LinkedIn groups are great. There are all types. There's geographic networking groups, groups for different professions, companies, industries, You name it, there's pretty much a group for it. I mean, I don't know how many groups there are, but there's got to be tens of thousands. There's a lot. So what you do is pick the ones that your best prospects belong to. Don't make the mistake that most salespeople make of joining the ones their peers belong to. That doesn't do you any good. So again, pick the ones that your best prospects belong to and join them. Now, the great thing about groups, until, of course, LinkedIn changes the rules or something, is that for the most part, you can directly email other members in that group. Not only that, but you can also post your sales message on the discussions page or notice board so that all of the group members see it. That way, you get your marketing message out to a large number of potential clients all at once. So what better way to find qualified prospects and directly contact them quickly and easily. Now, many profiles have phone numbers on them as well, so you can also develop an effective telephone campaign for the group too. And it's pretty easy. I mean, trust me, I've tried this, to call up prospects when you get a nice intro like, "Hi, Mr. Prospect, we both belong to the XYZ group on LinkedIn." That really does seem to count as a connection when you speak to them. So pretty useful. Now, LinkedIn allows you at the moment, of course, unless they change the rules again, allows you to join 50 groups. So I'd highly recommend maxing out and joining all 50 that you can. And when you've exhausted all possibilities with one group, simply leave it and join a new one. There's enough out there, trust me, you won't run out. Now, use the LinkedIn bookmarklet. Go to the bottom of your LinkedIn homepage, then go to the Help Center and search for the bookmarklet, then install it on your bookmark toolbar. Now, this is absolutely one of my favorite social media tools because basically what it does is enable you to share a web page that you're looking at with your connections or groups and post it to Twitter at the same time. Now, when you see an interesting web page that you want to share, just click on the bookmarklet and a LinkedIn box will pop up asking who you want to share it with. Now, I generally go with sharing it with my groups in order to get maximum exposure for my marketing message. And when you click to share the link, it will appear on the discussions page of every group that you select. And then you can even include a personal message for that. Pretty powerful stuff. Now, I often use it to send people to different pages on my website when I have something that I want to promote, like one of these webinars, for example. It's an absolutely brilliant way to get your message out there to potentially tens of thousands of qualified prospects in just a few short minutes. Now, the next social media tip is to join Open Networker /TopLink. Now, Open Networker TopLink has a service which will very, very quickly indeed expand your list. They do charge for it, unfortunately, but it's not that bad. It's $9.95 a month, and they'll add you to pretty much every major Invite Me list on all of the major social media networking platforms. You're talking about Twitter, Facebook, the usual crowd, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., etc., and quite a few you've probably never heard of. They'll also give you access to large lists of open networkers on all of the majors as well, so that you can invite them to join your networks too. It's quite amazing how quickly this will grow your list. It works really great. In the first 24 hours of just using it, I added a couple of hundred people to LinkedIn alone. I've been using it now for about 2 years, and I'm right at about 20,000 connections on LinkedIn. I'd highly, highly recommend using it for at least a couple of months to get your network off the ground. So there you go. There's a few quick tips on how you can start to increase your income pretty much immediately using the power of social media. So now let's move on to a topic a lot of you asked me about, actually, how to write a killer phone presentation. Now, firstly, very important, and again, I know it sounds obvious, but you really have to do this. Decide what is the goal of your call. It's going to be really one of three things, basically. It's going to be either to get a sale, to set an appointment, or follow up. Not much more to it than that. Now, once you've decided what your goal is, you need to be totally focused on that throughout the presentation, and that's very, very important indeed. You don't want to get too sidetracked. Remember why you're making the call. So, now you've got the prospect on the phone. What do you say? Well, you start by introducing yourself. And if you have a connection with the prospect, even again, if it's just, I'm in the same group on LinkedIn, this is where you want to use it. Because any kind of connection, trust me, is better than nothing. So we start with something like, "Hi, Mr. Jones. My name is Gary. We're members of the same bowling team, LinkedIn group, or preferably, I was referred by your brother." That would be ideal. So far, so good. Now, this is where it gets interesting. You introduce your business with a major benefit. Now, obviously, I know that you're all with Aflac, but I'm going to run through this in the generic form first, so you get the concept. For example, I'm with XYZ Company. We are the people. So, we are the people that what? This is where you insert the major benefit of the prospects doing business with you. For example, I'm with Coleshill & Associates. We're the people that can show your sales team how to increase the amount of appointments they set and make more sales over the phone. Okay? That's the one that I would use. Secondly, I've got one here that I wrote for Prepaid Legal, now Legal Shield. We're the people who can cut your legal costs and protect you from costly and time-consuming lawsuits for less than the price of a cup of coffee per day. Then you move on, basically, to try and get the appointment. You say, "I would like to show you." Now, notice the use of show to deflect semi-information, which is pretty much a given that they're going to come up with that. So, I'd like to show you how we do that. It will only take about 15 minutes. Now, we always say about 15 minutes because nobody wants to think of a sales associate coming and camping out of their office or their home for hours on end. So 15 minutes kind of disarms them and it takes away some of the fear of meeting with you. Then you go for the close. Are you available on Tuesday at 10 or Wednesday at noon? Always give them an alternative choice, so it takes away the chance of them saying no. You don't want to ask a question at that stage of the presentation where they can give you a yes or no answer. So you want to give them a choice instead. So that's all there is to it, basically, apart from any objections that you might hear. And that's, of course, mentioned in the main program. So let's go through these steps once more. Let's customize it somewhat for you, for Aflac Associates. Firstly, we're going to go into the intro, number one. Secondly, we're going to make that connection. Thirdly, we have the benefit statement. We're the people. And fourthly and lastly, we have the close. Now, the most important part of this whole process is the benefit statement. So think about that very, very carefully. Now, here's some homework for those of you out there that don't have a benefit statement. Write out your benefit statement and email it to me tomorrow, and I'll review it and critique it for free. So, I'm going to run through that once more, and we're going to customize it for Aflac. So, let's start at the top. Hi, Mr. Jones. My name's Gary Coleshill. We're both members of the same LinkedIn group. I'm with Aflac. We're the people that can help you save money on your payroll taxes, implement a great employee benefit package, and help you retain your best employees without it costing you a dime. I'd like to show you how it works. It's only going to take about 15 minutes. Are you available on Tuesday or Friday? That's pretty much it. Let's give it one more run through. Hi, Mr. Jones. My name's Gary. We're both members of the same LinkedIn group. I'm with Aflac. We're the people that can help you save money on your payroll taxes, implement a great employee benefit package, and help you retain your best employees without it costing you a dime. I'd like to show you how it works. It's only going to take about 15 minutes. Are you available on Tuesday or Friday? So that's it, using a benefit statement that I've written with some of my Aflac clients in the past. But obviously, if you playing around with it, and maybe you can write a better benefit statement than that. Certainly like to see some of your thoughts on that. Anyway, my email address is gary@phonesalesguru.com. If you'd like to write some benefit statements out and send them over to me, I'll be happy to take a look at them. So, there you have it. Now you can avoid the frustration of dealing with voicemail. You can actually get prospects to return your calls. You'll learn how to stay motivated, avoid burnout, stay focused on making the calls that you need to make in order to get the kind of results that you want. You'll discover how to stop wasting your time on deadbeats who don't want, don't need, or can't afford your products or services, and instead find qualified ones that have the need and have the money. Let me teach you how to get past the gatekeeper to present your product or service directly to the decision maker who has the power to not only say no, but also to say yes. Find out the secrets of navigating automated voicemail systems to get directly to your prospect, and learn how to use social media to explode your business in the next 12 months. Learn all of these solutions and much, much more in my new 4-part online training program, which consists of 4 training modules. So for those of you who seriously want to take your businesses to the next level, let's talk about what you'll get with my main program. As I explained earlier, the program is divided up into 4 modules. Now, module 1 is laying the foundation for dramatic phone sales acceleration, and it deals with your ideal client profile, the ultimate phone sales mindset, designing your business persona, managing your time for peak phone production, the ultimate voicemail strategy, voice quality dynamics, the importance of tonality in your voice, your opening statement, and the traits and habits of top sales pros. Next, so we're going to run through this fairly quickly, then we're going to come back to answer some questions. Secondly, we have module 2, communicating as a world-class sales professional, which covers getting past gatekeepers, working with automated phone systems, building a pipeline of future sales leads, building rapport and trust, identifying hot buttons and verbal cues, pacing and leading for phone sales, voice quality dynamics, and here we deal with inflection, and question strategies. What's that? Oh, yeah, okay, sure, thanks. And here we have a quick announcement. My assistant just stuck a message into my nose. I forgot to mention that we've just got hold of the wonderful motivational classic, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill in ebook form. So everyone who stays on until the end of the webinar, and I'm talking about another 10 minutes or so, will get a free copy of Think and Grow Rich. Now, if you haven't read it before, you really need to read it. It's a wonderful book. And if you have read it before, it's a wonderful book. You probably should read it again. So stick around till the end and get a free ebook copy of Think and Grow Rich. Now, moving on to Module 3. Module 3 is Mastering Advanced Communication Skills, and it covers advanced language patterns, handling objections, the art of reframing, closing the sale and setting the appointment, stick strategies, how to minimize cancellations. So that's Module 3. Module 4 covers making the shift from phone sales to entrepreneur, and the topics there will be using social media to generate more leads, writing emails that get results, the use of autoresponders, and how to create and use a structured referral system. Now, the program normally sells for $150 per module, making a total investment of $600 for the whole program. But today, especially for my Aflac friends out there, I'm going to make you a very special offer indeed. For the next 30 minutes, and 30 minutes only, I'm going to give you the opportunity to invest in the entire program for a special Aflac rate of just $97. That's right, just $97, a saving of over $500 off the normal price. Now, about the reports that I mentioned earlier, as an added bonus for registering in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to throw all 4 of them in 2. So that's a free copy of each of the following reports. Things not to say at any cost if you want to make a sale, the top 12 ways to hit and even exceed your goals in a recession, getting past the gatekeeper, and of course, learning to love voicemail. That's a $100 value absolutely free. So that's an extra $100 worth of free training if you register in the next 30 minutes. That's $700 worth of training for just $97. Now, this is an 8-week course, so the investment works out at just $1.75 per day for the regular package. Can you really afford to miss out on this valuable information for less than the price of a cup of coffee per day? Of course you can. And to make this even more of a no-brainer, the whole program is covered by my satisfaction guarantee. It's a money-back satisfaction guarantee which gives you a 1-week trial period to check out Module 1. If you don't feel that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread and worth the entire investment of the whole program, you can get a full refund, no questions asked. So, go to the link that's shown on the screen. I'll show the link there. The link that's shown on the screen, and click on it to register right now. You now have the opportunity to learn the same skills that took me 2 decades to learn in just a few short weeks and start to enjoy all of the benefits that being proficient on the phone has to offer. Or you can go at it on your own, continuing to lose sales in the process and struggling to make just a fraction of what you could be earning if you had this valuable information. So go to the link right now to reserve your spot, and that link is www.tinyurl.com/CMP-HFND. It's kind of a complicated link, but anyway, I'll repeat that again. tinyurl.com/CMP-HFND. Once more, tinyurl.com/CMP-HFND. Now, if anybody has any challenges with the link, or if they want to register over the phone, they're welcome to call me on 888-894-2929. And we'll go to questions in a few more minutes. And also, I wanted to read out some scripts that were provided to me by Carissa Long-Sanders, which I think you'll find interesting. She's had a lot of experience with setting appointments for Aflac Associates, and was kind enough to share a couple of the scripts with me. I'll be reading those out after we take questions. So hang around for a few more minutes. There's good stuff coming up. So again, go to the link if you want to register for the main program, tinyurl.com/CMP-HFND. Now, I've been in both places, and I'll tell you, if this type of training was available when I first got started in the business, I would have paid pretty much anything to get my hands on it. It's that valuable to what you do. And think about this for a moment. The total investment for this program is probably less than the price of a tank of gas. With the price of gas so high, doesn't it make sense to do as much business as you possibly can over the phone? So I'm going to open up registration now for 30 minutes, and once the 30 minutes are up, the bonus programs will no longer be available. The clock is ticking, so go to that link right now, tinyurl.com/CMP-HFND, and register right now before your competition does. Now, don't forget that the program is covered by my satisfaction guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to lose except your competition in the dust. If anyone has any challenges with getting registered, my number is up on the screen, 888-894-2929. So is my email address, Gary@phonesalesguru.com. And stick around for a few more minutes and we'll run through questions, and I'll give you some of Chris's scripts. Now, one single idea from this program could make you thousands of dollars in extra income this year alone, and you can get started on it for less than $100. How about that? You've got two choices here. You can continue to do what you've been doing and try to develop new strategies and techniques on your own by constant testing and trial and error, at the same time losing countless sales in the process, or you can make a strategic investment in your business right now. So, Let's move on to the questions now. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if anyone has any questions, type them into the text box, which I believe is under the main screen there. Okay, here's a question from Joey, and Joey asks, what's the schedule for the training? Well, Joey, there really isn't one. The modules are available 24/7 online in special members area, so you can watch them anytime you like. Each module is available in MP3 and MP4 format and comes with a complete PDF transcript. So you can download them as well. You get the first module within 24 hours of registering, and then every 2 weeks you get access to the next one. So you kind of learn in bite-sized chunks there. The modules start online usually until 30 days after you receive the fourth and final one, but if you want access after that, just let me know. It's not an issue. Okay, hopefully that answers your question there, Joey. Any more questions? Jenny has one. How do I get the free ebook copy of Think and Grow Rich? Yeah, I should have mentioned that. I'm sorry. Well, Jenny, all you have to do to get your free copy is send an email to Gary@phonesalesguru.com with the words free book in the subject line. Any more questions? Let's see. Well, you are a shy bunch. There's still quite a few here on the webinar, and you can't come up with one more question. No one? Okay. Well, okay, I guess I must have explained things really well then. So, let's move on. In that case, if anybody has any questions, feel free to send them over and I'll answer them after this. Let's just move on to Carissa's scripts, and then we'll wrap up. Now, these were sent over by Carissa Long, and the objections she's come across and dealt with were, we already saw Aflac, we aren't interested. And her response to that is, I hear you, the best part about Aflac is everyone has seen him. When was the last time you sat down with an Aflac representative and had a chance to see how it would benefit you as well as your employees? Insurance is changing really, really fast, and Aflac allows you to get back your out-of-pocket expenses that you are or will be occurring in this new insurance economy. That's the first one. Number two, we polled the employees and no one was interested. Wow, I'm so excited to hear that and glad you talked to them about it, but I can't fix a car, so I would never try to explain how to. So I wouldn't expect them to be interested when a person who's not an agent just says you want to spend more money on insurance without them knowing the details of what they're saying no to. They're missing out on the facts. It's very good. We can't afford to offer any more insurance right now. You know you're not alone. No one can, and neither can I. That's why business owners love Aflac, as it doesn't cost them anything to offer it to the employees. We have so many options that all you have to do is sit back and be the wonderful employer that you're offering additional benefits, and your employees will still get a group rate. We don't offer insurance. We're too small. Well, one benefit of Aflac that sets us apart is that we work with small companies as well as large companies. Have you ever looked at Aflac? And next one. Our employees don't make that much money. They can't afford any additional insurance. The answer to it is no one can afford additional insurance. But if you can afford a cup of coffee each day this month, then you can afford Aflac. We benefit minimum wage employees to CEOs. Hard times have no preference. Everybody falls on them, and that's why Aflac is so wonderful. Anyone can afford it. All of these responses should always be followed by the same reply. Tell you what, normally I take about 45 minutes to meet with someone. I can stop by and talk to you for about 15 to 20 minutes to get the information you need, and I'll bring an Aflac duck so you won't forget me when you're looking at your insurance, and hopefully I can have a shot at earning your business down the road. And hey, if not, perhaps you'll come in contact with someone down the road who would need Aflac, and you could give them my number, and vice versa. Then you set the appointment. So, very good, Carissa. I'm sure they're very useful. They sound very good indeed. Anyway, let's get back to questions again. We've got just one more here, I think. Looks like Jenny again. Hi, Jenny. And I know this is really a question, but Jenny says, you have a very nice voice. Could you record my voicemail greeting for me? You know what, Jenny? Sure. If you register for the main program, I'll be happy to do that for you. And for anybody else that would like me to record their voicemail greeting. So, I think I've taken up enough of your time here today. Hopefully, I want to thank you all for joining me. That was great. And I hope that you all picked up some valuable ideas and strategies. And if anyone wants to contact me after we wrap up, my number is on the screen, 888-894-2929. And so is my email address, and Gary@phonesalesguru.com. And if you still want to register and get the free bonuses, you've got about 20 minutes to do so. So go to tinyurl.com/CMPHFND and register right now to get all those freebies. And if anyone has any questions, give me a call. Thank you very much, and speak to you all soon. Bye for now.